Good afternoon, all. We have been discussing VHDL program structure. So VHDL is a hardware program description language which is used to describe the digital circuits, so which is used to design the digital systems. A VHDL program structure, it mainly consists the VHDL entity and VHDL architecture. So mainly the program structure of the VHDL, which deals with the two things, the VHDL entity and VHDL architecture. Here the program structure, it is not only with the entity and the architecture body. So there are design units, or you can say that design elements. So they are used to build a digital system in VHDL. So the design units of the VHDL are entity declaration, architecture body, configuration declaration, package declaration, package body. So these 5 design units are used to build the digital systems or the digital circuits in VHDL. So the major two things are the VHDL entity and architecture, because the other design units, so which are the configuration declaration, package declaration, package body, so they will come internally either at the VHDL entity, or they will come in the architecture body of the entity. So now see this diagram here. This entire diagram, it is called as a entity. So what is entity in VHDL? It is called the entity. What is entity in VHDL? A hardware abstraction of a digital circuit. A hardware abstraction of a digital system is called entity. Entity means the circuit which is going to be designed, or the circuit which is going to be modeled. It is called entity. So the entity is modeled with the help of the VHDL entity. I mean that entity declaration and architecture body. And there are other design elements are there, which are the configuration declaration, package body and package declaration. They will come internally to this architecture, or they may be come to the entity declaration also. So that's why mainly we will discuss about the VHDL entity and VHDL architecture. So the remaining are also very important: configuration, declarations, package. Okay, so the program structure, it consists the VHDL entity and VHDL architecture. So you can observe this diagram where the architecture body, it consists the sequential statements, combinational, I mean the concurrent statements, and it also have the processes. We will see what is processes, and subprograms, where the subprograms, it consists the two types of the subprograms. Subprograms in VHDL are two types. One is functions, second is procedures. There is a small difference between the functions and procedures. So whenever we say subprograms in VHDL, so which refers to types of subprograms. One is procedures and second is functions. So all they may come under the either in interface or architecture. Mainly the subprograms comes under the architecture body part. The package declarations are comes under the entity. Configuration declarations comes in the architecture body. So these are the design elements which are used to build the VHDL digital systems, which are used to design the VHDL systems or circuits. The main two things are entity and architecture. So already we have seen the entity declaration and the syntax of the entity declaration, and in the last class we have discussed a very important concept, the levels of abstraction. So what do you mean that levels of abstraction? So when you are modeling a digital circuit, when you are designing a digital circuit, so we use it to write, or we use it to build the digital system by using the entity declaration and by using the architecture body. The entity, it describes the input and output ports of the digital system, and the architecture describes the functionality of the digital system, right? So now, what is the significance of the levels of abstraction? Here, while you are writing or while you are building a digital circuit or a digital system, so in the architecture body, so we will describe the functionality of the digital system at 3 different levels of abstraction. You can describe the circuit behavior using the behavioral style modeling, or you can describe the circuit using the data flow modeling, or you can also describe the behavior of the circuit using the structural modeling style. So these are all called the levels of abstraction. So we have seen in the last class these 3 levels of abstraction. What are the 3 levels of abstraction? Behavioral level, data flow level, structural level. So these are all also known as modeling styles. So what are the different modeling styles in VHDL? Behavioral modeling, data flow modeling, structural modeling. So among the 3, the behavioral, data flow, and among the three modeling styles or the 3 levels of abstraction, the behavioral is the highest level of abstraction, because the circuit is described with the help of the truth tables or the state diagrams, or with the help of the block diagrams. And the data flow is the moderate. It is the moderate level of abstraction, medium level of abstraction. So where the data flow, it describes the system behavior in terms of how the data is moving from input to the output. So how the data is moving from input to the output. So in terms of that data movement, the system behavior will be described in data flow level. And the last, which is the lowest level of abstraction, which is similar to of our physical digital circuit. In a physical digital circuit, if you observe, so where you will have an interconnection of the digital gates and digital components, which is the physical level. So the structural level is the lowest level, and at this level, the system behavior is described in terms of the interconnection of the gates and the components. So how the system devices are interconnected and how the data is moving from the input to the output. So because of that interconnections, we can come to know that how the data can travel in that system. So the structural modeling, in this, the gates and digital components are used, and the interconnection of the gates and the digital component describe the behavior of the digital system. So these are the different modeling styles of the VHDL, or they are also known as the levels of abstraction here. In the last class, we have seen data flow modeling. So what is the data flow modeling? At this level of abstraction, or at this level of modeling, the system is described with the help of the logic expressions. The logic expressions can give us how the data can transfer in this, how the data is moving in the system, I mean the circuit. So in the last class, we have seen this data flow modeling. So do you understand that the data flow modeling? So did you understand that data flow modeling? So a simple data flow modeling, you can see here an example. You're seeing the architecture of that a half adder circuit. A half adder will consist the two inputs and two outputs, and the two outputs are the sum and carry. And how the sum and carry are modeled here with the help of the logic expressions. The sum is realized with an expression of the XOR gate. You know what is the logical expression for a XOR gate? A bar B plus A B bar. So the entire logic function A bar B plus A B bar can be simply implemented with the help of a single gate. So that's why we have directly considered this XOR gate here. You can also write it the digital expression here also. Okay, and the carry is simply realized with a single product term, which is the AB. The carry of the half adder circuit is, the logical expression is AB. So which means that A and B. So here you're directly modeling the carry of the circuit with a logic function A and B. So the data flow modeling is very easy. If you know the logical expression, you can simply model the digital circuit. So this is about the data flow modeling. So in the last class, so we have seen all these concepts, and today we will continue the levels of abstraction, and then we will discuss about the VHDL identifiers and VHDL data objects. So the next modeling style or the next level of abstraction is, here we will discuss behavioral modeling, or the behavioral level of abstraction. So in this, if you see here, in this, if you see, in the behavioral modeling, you will have the similar syntax here. What is the syntax here? It starts with the keyword architecture, with the name of the architecture. So what is the name of the architecture? Here we have considered it is a half adder underscore sequential, right? And of half adder is, so here the off adder is the name of the entity, the circuit which is we are going to realize. So half adder. In the last class, we have taken this entity name as in a short form, which is AH, half adder. It must be same. So that's why I have notified with this HE. And now the second, in the second one, if you see here, it has a keyword begin here. Usually in the syntax of the architecture, you will have the architecture, name of the architecture of the entity name is. The name of the architecture is half adder, sequential, and the entity name is half adder, right? And then we are beginning the architecture body with the keyword begin. But here it is very important to observe this keyword process. So this is very, very important, how the behavioral modeling is distinguished with the other levels of modeling. We have three types of modeling: behavioral, data flow, structural. And how we can differentiate, how the behavioral modeling is differentiated from the other two modelings here. How the structural, how the behavioral is differentiated from the structural, how it is different from the data flow. So that is with this keyword process. In the behavioral modeling, we use process statement. Remember that when you are writing a behavioral modeling, so it must start with the, I mean that the process is start with the statement process. These two are the quite common in any architecture body, but exclusively for the behavioral modeling, we will start with this process statement. So what does this process here? What does this process do here? So here the process statements, in the name itself you can understand that a process, it processing the input variables. Whatever the variables you will mention in this process statement, they will be processed for the behavioral modeling. Suppose the inputs are A and B. So now in the process statement, between the brackets, you are mentioning the processing variables. If you have not mentioned the process variables, so they will not be taken into consideration of the device modeling. So compulsory here we have to mention the parameters which are to be processed for the behavioral model. So such inputs or maybe of outputs you can mention in this process statement. So it must starts with the process. Okay, and after this process, here you will state the variables which are to be processed. So in this process statement we will state the parameters which are to be processed, and then it is again starts with the keyword begin. So what is the difference between the begin for this begin and this begin? So here the first one, this one, so here this begin, it is to start with the behavioral modeling, whereas after when you use this process statement, the process will be initiated or the process will be start executing by this begin keyword. So that's why second time we are mentioning this keyword begin here. And now see here how the device is describing the functionality of the half adder circuit. Just recall the truth table here. Just recall the truth table here. So A, B are the input, S and C are the sum and carry respectively. Now you know the four possible combinations. Since it is having the two inputs, the possible combinations of inputs are 4, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1 and 1. And you know how when a 0, 0 is applied to a half adder, so the sum is 0 and carry is 0. And for 0, 1, the sum is 0 and carry is 0. For 1, 0, the sum is 0 and carry is 0. For 1 and 1, the sum is 0 and carry is 1, because the 1 plus 1, it produces the carry. So now the behavioral modeling, it describes the functionality of the half adder circuit. It describes the functionality of the half adder circuit with in terms of the truth table. We are not going into the components. We are not looking at the logical expressions. We are just looking at the truth table, the functional table, and you are describing the behavior of the circuit here. That is half adder circuit. And see here how the behavior is described here. It seems like the C language or the C+ language statements, right? If else condition. So in the first statement, see here, if the condition, if statement is used, if the inputs A and B are 0, 0, then assign the sum is 0 and assign the carry is 0. So that is, you are specifying the condition. So the sum and carry are the outputs. So if the sum and carry are to be 0, the condition is the inputs A and B must be 0. So that's why here in the if condition, if A is 0 and B is 0, then you are assigning an assignment operator. See, this is called the assignment operator. This is called assignment operator. So you are assigning the 0 to the output sum and you are assigning the 0 to the output carry. If it is not the case, that is, if it is not 0, 0 case, else if second case, the second case is 0, 1 and 1, 0. So if the input is 0 and the B is 1, if the A is 0 and B is 1, then the output is supposed to be sum is 1 and carry is 0. So that's why you are directly writing a statement that if A is 0 and B is 1, then assign the outputs are for sum is 1 and for carry is 0. And if it is the third case, 1 and 0 case, if the A is 0 and B is 0. So that's why here you see, here we are using the else if condition. If not this, then else if this one. If it is not so, then else if A equal to 0 and A equal to 1 and B equal to 0. So if it is the case, if the A and B are 1 and 0 respectively, then the sum must be assigned with a value 1 and the carry must be assigned with a value of 0. So whenever you give 1 and 0 as an input, so the output is 1 and 0. The sum is 1 and carry is 0. If it is not the case, then else if. So see here, for the last case, here we are using the else here. So if, else if, else. So if first condition kaakapote second condition kaakapote third condition, if not, finally else. Only one final condition, else. If not all these above if not all these above conditions are not, then it is else. So in that case, what do you mean that? So if the input conditions are not 0 0 0 1 and 1 0, then the possible combination is 1 and 1. So for 1 and 1, the sum is 0 and for carry is 0. And you're terminating the if process. You're using the if statement and you're terminating that if process, and you're terminating the end process, and you're terminating the architecture with the end name of the architecture. So this is the behavioral modeling style here. But if you observe the behavioral modeling where the statements are executed in an order. If you see the data flow modeling, we will go back to the data flow. So now see here in the data flow, you have two outputs, sum and carry. These two are the concurrent statements. So that's why in this example, for our understanding, half adder concurrent. It is not necessary to specify that one, but to understand for our understanding purpose, so it has the name half adder concurrent. But if you see here, the sum and carry are the concurrent statements. They are not sequential statements, which means that the concurrent statements executed simultaneously. Parallelly, they will be executed. They will be parallelly executed. So that is, in the data flow modeling, we use the concurrent statements. Remember that for data flow modeling, we use concurrent statements. And now here, see here, for the behavioral modeling, we use the sequential statements. We use the sequential statements. We use the sequential statements. So see here, what is the condition that you are executing? In what way you are executing these statements? The first condition is 0 0. It is the order. If the A and B are 0 0, then the sum and carry are assigned with the logic values. If not so, then again you are taking the another condition, else if A is 0 and B equal to 1. If it is the condition, then the sum and carry has to be the logical values 1 and 0 respectively. If it is not the case, then it will go on to the next case, and even this case is not also satisfied, then it will move on to the next case. Finally, if the statements which are not satisfied in the above, then it will finally go for the final condition here, that is else condition. In that, you are finally assigning the sum and carry, the logical values with the 0. Sorry. So if you understand here, in this example, he has given me the 4 conditions I have defined, and he has defined the one extra condition here. That is the else if the conditions are not the four possibilities, then assign the sum is 0 and carry is 0. Okay, so if the conditions are not the specified conditions, so then if any other conditions if you take, assign the sum is 0 and assign the carry is 0 here. So how you can understand this condition here? You can understand the condition like as take the inputs A and B. The possible conditions are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1 and 1. But there are chances to have an input of the don't care condition. Sometimes you may have the don't care condition, and sometimes you may have the unknown value u. If it is the case, if you're not specifying the A input, you have not given the A input value, then it could be an unknown value or it could be a don't care condition. In such cases, what is the expected output or what we wanted to assign for the output? That is, the sum must be 0 and carry must be 0. If the given conditions are satisfied, then assign the values for sum and carry these values. Other than these conditions, if there are any other inputs are given, so for that cases, the sum and carry must be 0. So this is the behavioral modeling style. In behavioral modeling style, we will use the process statement. So remember this, in behavioral modeling, we start with the process statement, right? And in the process, the statements are executed sequentially. Remember this. So the statements which are inside the process statement are these sequential statements. So that's why the behavioral is a sequential statement. So this point we have discussed in our levels of abstraction also. Okay, in behavioral modeling, the statements are executed in an order. In a sequence, they will be executed. And in behavioral modeling, we use the process statement. Remember, these two are very important. Okay, so you're not using any logical expressions, you're not using any gates, you're just describing the behavior of the system using the truth table. That is behavioral modeling. Okay, and the next level of abstraction is the structural modeling. The structural modeling is the lowest level of abstraction. What is a lowest level in any of the modeling? It is nothing but the physical device. The physically if you look at if you see the device, what you will see, so you will have the digital gates and digital components, and they are all interconnected. So now for this structural modeling also, it describes the behavior of the system by the interconnection of the digital gates and components. So now to understand this structural modeling, so we will consider the circuit diagram of the half adder circuit. You know the circuit diagram of a half adder circuit. I am drawing here the half adder circuit. This is for the sum expression. So let the inputs are A and B, and this is sum, and for the and for the carry, so it is implemented with the AND gate. Let's say carry. So this is the structural modeling. So in the structural modeling, we will take the circuit diagram and we will use the components such as the digital gates and digital components and their interconnections describe the behavior of the system. మీరు ఇప్పుడు హాఫ్ యాడర్ సర్క్యూట్ ని డిజైన్ చేద్దాం అనుకున్నారు. హాఫ్ యాడర్ సర్క్యూట్ ని ఏ లెవెల్లో డిఫైన్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నారు? స్ట్రక్చరల్ లెవెల్లో డిఫైన్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నారు. సో నౌ ద మోడలింగ్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ స్ట్రక్చరల్ మోడలింగ్. Okay, so now how we can design the a half adder circuit using the structural modeling. So in that we will use the digital gates and components. So now see this program here. So what is the syntax? Here also you have the similar syntax, which is started with the architecture reserved word and the name of the architecture and half the entity. E entity ki sambandhinchina architecture. Okay, so architecture half adder, structure of half adder. So here take it as this A, because in the last class we have taken the entity name is HA, half adder. So now see here in the architecture we mainly see the two parts here. What are the two parts of the architecture? Declarative part, statement part. Declarative part, statement part. In the declarative part we will declare the components, you can declare the functions, you can declare the signals, you can declare the components. So that's why here in the declarative part we will declare the components. So for designing the half adder circuit, what are the components that we required here? The required components is one exclusive OR gate and one AND gate. So here we have taken two components, component exclusive OR and component AND gate. So these components are nothing but they are entities of the exclusive OR gate and AND gate. యాక్చువల్ గా మీరు ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్ కి ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాశారు అనుకోండి, అది ఏమవుతుంది? అప్పుడు ఎంటిటీ అవుతుంది కదా. అలాగే మీరు విడిగా AND గేట్ రాశారు అనుకోండి ప్రోగ్రామ్ VHDL కి, అప్పుడు AND గేట్ ఏమవుతుంది? అది విడిగా ఒక సెపరేట్ ఎంటిటీ అవుతుంది కదా. సో నౌ we are using that entity as a component in the architecture body. That is what we have discussed in the VHDL conceptual model. What is VHDL conceptual model? A VHDL entity can have a single entity declaration and can have the multiple architecture bodies. Or another point, conceptual model lone రెండో పాయింట్ ఏం చెప్తున్నారు? కాన్సెప్చువల్ మోడల్లో ఒక VHDL ఎంటిటీ వేరే VHDL ఎంటిటీలో కనుక యూజ్ చేస్తే అది అక్కడ ఎంటిటీ కింద యూజ్ చేయరు, కాంపోనెంట్ కింద యూజ్ చేస్తారు. కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం, AND గేట్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఈ రెండు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి మనకి వీటికి ఆల్రెడీ ముందుగానే VHDL కోడ్స్ రాసుకొని ఉంచాలి. అది మనం జనరల్ గా ల్యాబ్ లో మనం ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తాం జనరల్ గా. కాబట్టి మనం ఆ టైం వచ్చినప్పుడు అక్కడ డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం, మీరు చూస్తారు. బట్ ఇక్కడ కాన్సెప్ట్ మటుకు అర్థం చేసుకోండి. సో ఈ రెండు ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఆల్రెడీ రాసి ఉంటాయి మనకి. ఓకే, సో మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? డైరెక్ట్లీ వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ ది ఎంటిటీ ఆఫ్ దట్ డివైస్ యాజ్ ఏ కాంపోనెంట్ ఇన్ దిస్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ బాడీ. సో నౌ యు ఆర్ కాలింగ్ ది ఎంటిటీ ఆఫ్ ది XOR2 as a component in the architecture body of the half adder structure, this one, right? So see this component declaration. So in this component declaration it is quite similar to that of the entity declaration, isn't it? The component declaration is quite similar to the entity declaration, అవునా కదా? ఎందుకని అక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే ఎంటిటీ నేమ్ వాడుతున్నారు, ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? కాంపోనెంట్ ఈజ్ ఎ రిజర్వ్డ్ వర్డ్, కాంపోనెంట్ విత్ ది ఎంటిటీ నేమ్, దట్ ఈస్ XOR gate. And see this port, these are all similar to that of the entity. X and Y inputs, Z is a output. X and Y input, Z is the output, right? And this component is terminated with the end component. This is the keyword AND component here. Similarly, the second component AND gate is also declared. This is called the component declaration. The component declaration is done between the architecture and begin. This is called the declarative part of the architecture. So that's why the components are declared between the architecture keyword and the begin keyword. So now for our circuit, we require two components. So we have declared the two components here. That's it. And now the second one is, statement part. So statement part lo em untundo manaki? Statements ఉంటాయి. Concurrent statements ఉండొచ్చు, sequential statements ఉండొచ్చు. So the statement part is declared between the keyword begin and the end keyword. So కాబట్టి మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది ఇక్కడ డిక్లరేటివ్ పార్ట్ అనేది ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ కి బిగిన్ కి మధ్యన డిక్లేర్ చేయాలి. మీరు కాంపోనెంట్స్ ని డిక్లేర్ చేసినా, సిగ్నల్స్ ని డిక్లేర్ చేసినా, సబ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ డిక్లేర్ చేసినా, it has to be declared between the architecture and begin. Whereas the real statements, concurrent statements or the sequential statements, whatever may be, so they will be declared between the keywords begin and end. So this part is called the statement part. Now see here, in this structural modeling, there is a technical word which is called component instantiation. Remember that name. In the structural modeling, we have a technical word, component instantiation. What is this component instantiation? So in this component instantiation, we will do the mapping of the components. You know what is a mapping? What is a mapping? Assigning or connecting devices, or assigning the numbers or connecting the numbers. జనరల్ గా యూజువల్ గా చెప్తున్నా మ్యాపింగ్ అంటే ఏం చేస్తాం, ఇక్కడున్న ఒక పాయింట్ ని వేరే పాయింట్ కి కనెక్ట్ చేయటం, ఇక్కడున్న ఒక థింగ్ ని వేరే థింగ్ తో కనెక్ట్ చేయటం, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ సింప్లీ మ్యాపింగ్. సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం, దీన్ని కాంపోనెంట్ ఇన్స్టాంటియేషన్ అంటారు. ఈ ప్రాసెస్ ని ఇక్కడ నేను స్క్వేర్ బ్రాకెట్ లో పెట్టాను చూసారా, దీన్ని కాంపోనెంట్ ఇన్స్టాంటినేషన్ అంటారు. ఈ కాంపోనెంట్ ఇన్స్టాంటినేషన్ లో ఏం చేస్తాం మనం, సో వి విల్ డూ మ్యాపింగ్. సో మ్యాపింగ్ అంటే చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, సర్క్యూట్ డయాగ్రామ్ లో ఏ ఇన్పుట్ దేనికి ఇచ్చాము, ఇట్ గోస్ టు ది వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్, అండ్ సిమిలర్లీ ద బి ఇన్పుట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ది exclusive OR gate input. And now the same A and B inputs are given as inputs to the AND gate also. So now the output of the exclusive OR gate is sum and the output of the AND gate is carry. So now ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏదైతే ఇప్పుడు చెప్పామో దీన్ని ఇక్కడ మనం ఈ కాంపోనెంట్ ఇన్స్టాంటినేషన్స్ తో ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తాం. Let's see here. X1, it is the name of the component. It is a user defined word. You can give any one. And see here, take the component name. So ఇక్కడ component name ఏంటి, మనం యూజ్ చేసింది టూ కాంపోనెంట్స్ వాడాము. ఒకటి ఏంటి, ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్, రెండోది AND గేట్. సో మనం ఫస్ట్ ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం. సో ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఆర్ గేట్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని ఇన్పుట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, X and Y ఉంది, రైట్? X and Y and output Z. So now port mapper, it is a keyword, port mapper. So which maps the ports, so actual ga real inputs enti manaki, the real external inputs are the A and B, external outputs are sum and carry. So now you are mapping the exclusive OR gate inputs and outputs to the external inputs and outputs. That is called component instantiation. You are mapping the components which are used in our architecture, their inputs and outputs are mapped to the external inputs and outputs. కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ సింపుల్ గా అర్థం చేసుకోండి. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఈ పోర్ట్ లో మీరు ఎలా డిక్లేర్ చేశారు, X and Y ఇన్పుట్, Z అనేది అవుట్పుట్ కింద డిఫైన్ చేశారు. సో నౌ ఇక్కడ సింప్లీ మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే బ్రాకెట్స్ లో ఇన్పుట్స్ ని రాస్తాం. A and B, they are separated with comma and sum. So which means that the A is mapped with the Y and the B is mapped with the A is mapped with the X, B is mapped with the Y, and the sum is mapped with the Z here. So this is called port mapping, and technically it is called component instantiation. Do you get this point? Component instantiation. And how we can do the port map for the AND gate? So take the component name and do the port map. So using the port map keyword, you are assigning the, you are mapping the signals A and B, comma, carry. So which means that the A is mapped with the L, and here the A is mapped with the M, and the carry is mapped with the N. So this is how the system behavior is described at structural level of modeling. In the structural level modeling, we will use circuit diagram. We will take the circuit components and we will interconnect the circuit components. So for do all these things, we require the component declaration. We require the component instantiation. So do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So these are called the levels of abstraction. These are called the levels of abstraction. So I will give a break of 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. సో దీని అర్థం మీకు ఇప్పటిదాకా ఏదైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే నన్ను ఒకసారి అడగండి అమ్మా. బిహేవియర్ మోడలింగ్లో కానీ, స్ట్రక్చరల్ మోడలింగ్లో కానీ, డేటా ఫ్లో మోడలింగ్ మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోండి. బిహేవియర్ మోడలింగ్లో ఏం చేస్తున్నాము? ట్రూత్ టేబుల్, బ్లాక్ డయాగ్రాము, స్టేట్ డయాగ్రామ్స్ వాడతాం సర్క్యూట్ని డిస్క్రైబ్ చేయడానికి. డేటా ఫ్లోలో ఏం వాడుతున్నాము? లాజిక్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ వాడుతున్నాము. స్ట్రక్చరల్లో ఏం వాడుతున్నాము? సర్క్యూట్ డయాగ్రామ్ వాడుతున్నాము. సో సర్క్యూట్ డయాగ్రామ్ యూజ్ చేస్తే మనకి ఏం కావాలి? కాంపోనెంట్స్ కావాలి. కాంపోనెంట్స్ని మనం ఏం చేయాలి? ఇంటర్ కనెక్ట్ చేయాలి. సో ఇదంతా మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాము? ఒక కోడింగ్లో మనం రాసి దాన్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి దాన్ని సింథసిస్ చేస్తే యూ కెన్ రియలైజ్ ది హాఫ్ యాడర్ సర్క్యూట్. మనం తీసుకునే ఎగ్జాంపుల్. And another important points, if you observe, in data flow, we will use the concurrent statements. In behavioral, we will use the sequential statements because there we use the process statement. Remember this. ఎప్పుడైనా సరే మీకు ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ప్రాసెస్ అనేది కనబడింది అంటే అది ఏ లెవెల్ అవుతుంది? ఐ మీన్ అది ఏ మోడలింగ్ స్టైల్ అవుతుంది? బిహేవియరల్ మోడలింగ్ స్టైల్ అవుతుంది. సో బిహేవియరల్ మోడలింగ్ స్టైల్లో రాసేటప్పుడు ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ అనేవి సీక్వెన్షియల్ గా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. మీరు కొంతమంది క్వశ్చన్ అడగచ్చు, ఓన్లీ సీక్వెన్షియల్ అవుతుందా, కాంకరెంట్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అవ్వవా అని. అవుతాయి. కాంకరెంట్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ కూడా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. ఎప్పుడు? ఎండ్ ప్రాసెస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మీరు కాంకరెంట్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ రాస్తే అవి కాంకరెంట్ లోకి వెళ్తాయి. Or even if you have write the concurrent statements inside the process statement also, they will be executed sequentially. మీరు కాంకరెంట్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ కూడా రాసిన ప్రాసెస్ లో అవి సీక్వెన్షియల్ గానే ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. కాబట్టి బిహేవియరల్ మోడలింగ్ లో కాంకరెంట్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ వాడొచ్చు, సీక్వెన్షియల్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ వాడొచ్చు. కాకపోతే ప్రాసెస్ అనే స్టేట్మెంట్ యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు కంపల్సరీ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ అనేది సీక్వెన్షియల్ గానే ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, రైట్? సో షల్ వి గో ఫర్ ది నెక్స్ట్ కంటెంట్? Yes. So can I go to the next content? Right.
Yes, sir.